We're Hassani and Danielle Pettiford, and we're a real couple with real problems who almost called it quits.
I was very frustrated. I became very disconnected, very jaded and cold.
We have 4 children, going on 20 years of marriage, and we practice what we preach.
Our mission, to change the way couples relate to one another and teach them the skills needed to improve the quality of their relationships. This is the Couples Academy Show.
Next week. Okay, the links are now working, so you can click on that and register today. We're excited about that. And Last Chance Weekend, we'll be making announcements about that, but it will be March the 11th through the 13th, and we're excited about that as well. So make sure if you want to come, register. If you have any questions, reach out to us at couplesacademy.org. Set up a discovery call, and we would love to engage with you. All right, let's dive deep.
Awesome. So we're talking about your conflict style as an Enneagram personality type, and we all can you imagine, like, within the confines of a relationship, you know that there's no heated bigger argument than the one that you can get into with your spouse.
Oh, that's for real.
I mean, you know how to pull out all the weapons. You start slinging words, slinging bodies, slinging face.
All of that.
Yeah, because we do conflict differently. It's interesting because we see couples all the time. It's interesting when a couple is in our presence that is arguing. They're in a full-blown argument, but they're not even yelling. Like they're talking at this like monotone level, like everything seems calm, cool, and copacetic to anybody who would maybe be walking by. But because we're in the conversation, we know that they are in a serious argument, and there's an intensity in the eyes. You can see that it's piercing. There is anger. It's underlying. And so there are different ways that we conflict and we fight. And sometimes it's confusing to us. We actually feel like our partner doesn't even care. Or even sometimes we hear people say, I never saw my parents argue. Yeah. They didn't know what they were seeing. There was arguing going on.
What's deep about what you're saying, I remember years ago, there was a couple that we were counseling, and his conflict style was very aggressive, and her conflict style wasn't. And he felt like because she doesn't curse me out, because she doesn't hit me, because she doesn't throw things at me, she doesn't care. And it's just interesting how we interpret each other's conflict styles in such a way. Like, so we have to go to 10 for me to know that you actually care.
Right. And if I have that type of personality style where I want to see something come out of you because it comes out of me, I might do things to you to try to get a rise out of you. Right. What do I need to do to piss you off so that you feel something? Right. You're trying to get them to feel the way you feel.
Yeah.
You don't feel the same way as your spouse. And so sometimes they just have a different conflict style, and that's what you're seeing. So I want to take us through all of the Enneagrams today. Get your pen and paper out, because I want you to identify self, right? Most of us that are following us know your personality style by now. If you do not know your personality style, reach out to us so that we can get an assessment, help you break down all there is to know about you and why you do the things that you do, so that you can come to the show with some level of understanding, right? So that you can ingest this food and it can go in well. So I want to start with personality style number 1. Okay, we're talking about conflict styles, but I want to remind you how the 1 sees themselves. Okay, the 1 sees themselves as being right, good, like the person that needs to be perfect. And not only do they need perfection from themselves, and they are the hardest on themselves, and most people who know 1s will say they are so particular, but they are hard on their loved ones as well, and they have high expectations for their loved ones. At the end of the day, they want to be a good person in the world. They want to fight for what is right, okay? And so if you have that lens and you have that perspective, that's how you see the world in every area of life: family, friends, work. You're always looking to resolve the problem based on your lenses, okay? So write this down. The conflict style of 1 is fault finding. Did you put it up? And nitpicking, okay? The reason why it's fault finding and nitpicking is because literally they pretty much they're like investigating and looking for something to correct. They're always correcting. They're always looking for perfection.
Yeah, and that doesn't work in a relationship. First of all, a lot of times people have experienced that in their homes growing up. They come from an environment where that's what it was. It was correction, it was discipline, it was criticism. Then you bring that into your adult relationship where you're constantly criticizing. Now, I'm not a 1, but certainly I can relate to this aspect because this is one of the challenges that I had. And I know a lot of couples who come to us often say, I can never do anything right. I'm always wrong. No matter what I do, it's not good enough. Like, it's just, no matter what it is, if it's looked through a lens of perfection, and none of us are perfect, and neither is the 1 who has that lens.
Right.
You are not perfect.
Not perfect.
And one thing I know about the 1, a lot of times they look outwardly at the imperfections in the world because they fear taking enough time to look inwardly at their own imperfections.
Absolutely true. See, because now you're going there. See, now the 1s are angry. Right? They are instinct driven. So it's not like they take time to think about the impact on the people around them when they are over here nitpicking and fault finding. 1s can, in conflict. Now we're talking about when something is wrong, there's a conflict, there's a disagreement, there's a fight, you're having an issue with your spouse, you can become condescending and even cold natured, right? Even though your heart is about doing the right thing. But imagine if you're a 1. And you're the good person in your heart and mind and the way you see yourself, and your spouse is coming to you telling you all the things that you're doing wrong. Now, because it's so hard for you to look at yourself as someone who's imperfect, because you're the hardest on yourself, that's when you move into the fault finding and the nitpicking. You become poker faced and unemotional.
Wow. This is deep.
Okay. Now we're going to jump over to the 2s. Okay. Now 2s in a whole different triad. 2s are in the heart feeling triad. Okay. These are the ones that wear their emotions on their sleeve. Okay. So remember, the way a 2 sees themselves is that they're being helpful. They're nice. They're giving. They're caring. They're the person that's going to show up to get it done. If people need me, I got to be there. It's my responsibility because I'm the loving, caring person. I'm going to do it. Nobody else will. So I'll be there to show people that I love, okay? That's how 2s show up in the world. So imagine having that vision and perspective of yourself. Now let's talk about the conflict style, okay? Did you?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, pull up the conflict style.
Go ahead, read it. I got this.
Okay.
I'm working this.
You gonna read it?
Oh, you want me to read it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Number 2, they are dramatic and wet. What does that mean?
Dramatic and wet. So when you encounter a 2, you may not know this outrightly, but 2s are incredibly emotional. They're the ones that if you're in a room with a 2, the 2 is very comfortable in sadness and emotions and crying. A 2 is somebody who could talk about their feelings for hours. They can never get enough of it. And so they're very wet. They cry, at the drop of a dime, they just can cry. They're the type of people that feel comfortable crying and actually can talk through their tears. Some people can't talk through their tears.
But
okay?
What's
2s
difficult?
can.
What's difficult about that is if that's somebody's way of dealing with conflict and they're married to someone who doesn't do that. Number 1, they may not understand it. They don't get it. Like, what are you crying for?
Yes.
They don't know how to respond to it because now they're in this flooded emotional state. And so here's my question. If this is the way that they respond to conflict, are they comfortable in this Like when you look at all these personality styles, right? Yeah. The way that we struggle with conflict, is there something that says, I'm crying right now and I'm doing this because I'm a 2. And so I'm comfortable with it. I justify it. I'm not.
No, a 2 and.
Or any number.
Well, anybody in the feelings and heart center, they are actually feeling the experience. Now, I'm telling you what I know. I'm not telling you how I feel, because I'm not in the heart feeling triad, okay? But how a 2 feels is they feel the experience. They feel the emotions. They're not faking it or putting it on or necessarily trying to pull anything out of you. They're living in a real experience, and they want you to connect with them where they're at. Why don't you feel my pain? I feel your pain, and so they can be very wet and dramatic in their emotions because they want somebody to experience this level of pain that I feel. I'm in my emotions right now,
I think this is an excellent teaching for all of you who are watching, because maybe you know your spouse's style, right? But you think your spouse is uniquely different. Something's wrong with them. They need to get it together. Like, why are they so this? Why are they so that? But when you begin to understand, this fits into a personality style. And there are other 2s out there and other 8s out there and other 7s out there. And they all respond like this. It helps. I think it helps to better understand and to know how to learn how to process and how to deal with those particular reactions. Because this is the serious one, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. So listen, I want to add this to the 2s, is that even though they can be dramatic and wet, when their love and their affection is turned away, they can become blustering angry. And you'll see the fierce, angry side of 2s. So 2s are the loving person, but they can get really angry when their love and their commitment to others is rejected or overlooked.
Wow, this is good, man. Listen, you're watching the Couples Academy show. We hope that you're getting something out of it. We have a lot more to get to, so stay right there. And in the meantime, share with somebody. Let them know that we're here. We'll be right back in just a second. If you're a man and you have a pulse, then you need to join this program. You're a husband. You're a father. You're a leader. You have the weight of the world on your shoulders. You have to be everything for everyone, but do you know who and how to be for you? You're still in search of your own significance. You're in internal battle with your own vices. You're questioning, do I even know what it means to be a man? I know I'm supposed to be there for others, but what about me? The fact is, you need a model. You need a code to live by, a system of principles to govern your life. You need an internal compass to guide your every decision. You need the 4 securities to build your own kingdom. What you need is the foundry. In short, a foundry is a facility where castings are produced by melting metal, pouring liquid metal into a mold, and then allowing it to solidify. Well, this is where we're testing the metal of men. Foundry is a 12-week men's-only coaching program. It is a brotherhood that will take each man through a purification process of the heart, mind, and soul. We here at Couples Academy promise you that if you give us 12 weeks of your life, you will no longer recognize it. If you care about the improving of your life, your marriage, and your family, register today. All right, guys, we are back. We're talking about the Enneagram conflict struggles. There are a number of comments in here, but first, let's just say good morning to all those who are here. I can't read all of your names because I'm going to be here for a while, but I'm just randomly picking them out, but I see all of you. So good morning, Derek. I miss you, man. What's going on, brother? Talk to me, bruh. What's the dealie? Shalise, Nina, Janice, Danielle, Jarius. I want to acknowledge all of our Instagram followers. Thank you for tuning in. Ralph, Toya. There's a number of comments here. I just want to go to a couple of them. LaShawn says, good morning. I'm in a conflict now, all over a misunderstanding, and my husband is a verbal assassin. and he do all the things that he know hurts me. Yeah. Well, tell him to tune in, because maybe a part of the way you two are communicating has everything to do with these personality styles and what you understand.
And maybe he doesn't
them.
know. Is that possible that he doesn't quite know all the things that hurt you because he doesn't know your personality style?
Yeah.
We're always operating in a fence when we don't understand each other.
And this is why these sessions are so important. Then we have a comment from Jackie. Ones can be very critical. One needs to work on using I statements. They come off very judgmental, but not because they're bad, because they want you to be good.
And they want to be good.
Wow, that's a good,
so true.
yeah, absolutely. Gonzalez says, Foundry, I can admit it's life-changing only if you apply it and want it. Consistency is key. Excellent, guys. We're talking about Enneagram this morning. We covered the first two. Now we're going to go into the next one, right?
All right, let's jump into 3. Okay, let's remind you of the image statement of 3, how they see themselves. They are successful. They're going to achieve. They are going to be impressive. They're goal-minded and goal-oriented, right? So it's not, winning isn't the one thing?
Winning isn't everything. It's the only thing, and I know it because I'm a 3.
Winning isn't everything. No, it's the only thing. Right?
It is the only thing.
It's the only thing to a 3, right? So you're not playing the game just to have fun.
I mean, okay.
Why are we playing dominoes? Why are we playing spades if
to
we're
win.
not here to win?
I'm just saying. Winning is fun, isn't it?
You can't make this stuff up, okay? So that's how the 3 sees themselves, right? So let's go to their conflict style.
Okay.
Are you going to read it?
Babe. Oh, I'm reading it. Oh, my bad. See, I'm thinking she's reading it, but I'm going to read it. So my bad. Now we're in the flow. I got it. All right. So type number 3s, they are, I don't know about this. They are evasive and arrogant. What is this supposed to mean?
That couldn't go down any better. So the arrogance and the evasiveness, let's jump into it, okay? Because remember, this is the conflict style. And how we do conflict is basically based on our anxiety, okay? So if a 3 wants to be seen as successful, they want to be seen as the winner, anytime there's a conflict or they're called on something that they've done wrong, they're going to try to avoid it, maybe
That's
like
true.
skip a few things and kind of twist what's going on and try to find the positive in it and not pay attention to the negative thing. And that can show up as arrogance as well. Say something.
I mean, I guess. Now, the avoidance thing.
Can't deny.
The avoidance, because for instance, I remember being, and I'm sure we've all done this, but I remember being in college and taking certain courses like electives, and I'm like, okay. Once I got in that class, after 2 weeks, I knew when the cutoff was. So you could get out at a certain time before it wound up, working against you. And I would be quick to drop out of a class if I knew I couldn't succeed at that. And that kind of speaks to, and I'm sure I've done that throughout my life, because we want to be successful at everything that we do. And if we know we're not going to be successful, then what's the point, right? So, I mean, I get that. And so if that means that I'm avoiding things, that can also be a problem, though, because there's necessary things that you need to do, or conversations that you need to have, or things in the marriage that you need to work on. And because of your incompetence, your lack of belief that you can do it, you just avoid it, you procrastinate, you don't get to it, and then it can cause problems later on. Right. So I get that. That makes sense.
Go. All right.
Now, but the arrogance piece, help me understand that.
Well,
no, I just want to understand it.
Okay. Well, 3s can show up as arrogant just because they have to win and be successful.
Okay.
A 3 is a person in the room that oftentimes is either bragging by what they're saying, right? I've done this, I've done that, I'm the best, I won this trophy, I won that trophy. And if they're not bragging by what they're saying, they're bragging by what they have. Right, so there's different ways of showing up. Some 3s don't speak on it. Some 3s are not going to say a word to you, but you're going to see, look at my watch, look at my car, look at how I live. So that's how a 3 can show up as arrogant.
Why are you looking like that, Madison? I'm saying, what's up? The producer over here off screen, you can't see her, but she's making these faces. But I mean, so in an argument, arrogance shows up how?
In an argument, arrogance can just look like avoiding the facts. 3s have this ability to, it's almost like they can chameleon in a conversation. So if we're talking about how you left the socks on the floor for something simple like that, and then the issue is that you left the socks on the floor, right? But the reason will come out. Well, I left the socks on the floor because I had to go do 3 things. And then after that, and you told me you wanted me to do this. So since you wanted me to do that, I left the socks on the floor. So it's like this ability to evade.
It doesn't resonate with me. It doesn't resonate.
Anybody who knows a 3 knows exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, so it is this ability to avoid dealing with the issue, because if the 3 deals with the issue and zeroes in on that, it means I failed. They can't fail.
Let's go to the next
number
one.
4.
All right. Okay. Number 4.
Number 4, let's remind everybody of how 4 sees themselves. Okay, they are intuitive, they are deep, they are creative, they are unique. They are different. They have been put here on this earth for some unique, specific thing, and they are going to find it. Okay, so they see themselves in that way. Their conflict style can be
very haughty and condescending.
Haughty and condescending, right? So what is haughty? Like, I'm above you, I'm better than you.
High-minded.
I'm high-minded, right? Like, I'm better than you, and I'm gonna condescend you because I'm better. You can't talk to me that way. Are you crazy? Do you know who I am? Do you know how special and unique I am? You don't get to talk to me like that. You must not know about me. You must not know about me.
Yeah, they can look down.
Yeah.
On okay.
They can look down on people. More ways to describe it. They can be emotionally explosive as well, because they can really feel some kind of way that you had feelings about them. Me? As awesome as I am, you have the audacity to call me out on things. And so they have to really be mindful of that haughtiness, because of course nobody is above reproach.
Absolutely.
You have a comment?
Yeah, we have a couple comments in here. Jackie says, my husband is a 3 and I have learned to be kind, clear, and not get into the competition with him. That's important. Then Darren says, I'm a 2, but I can see myself operating as a 3 in those particular areas. Then Jackie says, these are very optimistic. So if you are not optimistic, it can be a conflict. They must see the positive in a situation. And then, of course, Gonzalez says, Danielle is going in on 3s. She did kind of go in on the 3.
He kept asking. He was asking for it. I was trying to let him off the hook. He kept asking.
Is this stuff helpful? Are you getting something out of this? I know I am. We're talking about conflict struggles based upon your particular number. You're watching the Couples Academy show. We'll be right back right after this quick announcement. We're back.
It's not that hard.
We're back. Instagram.
Sorry, we were talking to Instagram. Instagram was on my side. They were with me because Hassani messed up my cup of coffee, and they understand my pain.
If I get arrogant and evasive, then you.
And then he tried to be especially accommodating and sensitive because we just talked about 3s being arrogant and evasive. Anyways, we're going to jump into 5. Image statement. I am knowledgeable. I need more time. Give me more time to myself. I'm an intellect. I need to think. I need to be process-minded. I'm different. I need my space. Back up. Too many emotions, okay? So they don't deal with emotions well, the 5s, okay? Matter of fact, if it was up to them, they would never, ever, ever deal with a single emotion. That's the 5, okay? Wow. So their conflict style.
They are detached and cold.
Now they're not. They're not detached and cold, but they come off detached and cold. especially depending on who it is that they're with. Could you imagine them with the dramatic and wet too?
They will probably run. Right, in the opposite direction.
We've got clients that have that issue, that they really have a conflict of understanding each other's emotions and how to speak those opposite languages, because one is so far on the other scale. Disconnected, seeming detached, seeming cold and aloof, needing space. And interestingly, the reason why the conflict style, and you're not going to get much of a rise out of a 5. Like if you're trying to fuss them out, they can get angry, no doubt, they can get angry. However, it is so draining to them that they might try to escape the situation altogether, right? Like if you get a 5 to the point of anger where they're actually yelling and really frustrated, it has taken so much out of them that you might not see them for a week.
Wow.
That's the type of relationship where you have couples that, like, it's been a week and we haven't even spoken, because that person became so depleted in the giving of those emotions that they actually need to get their heads together, and they're thinking people. They're really processing what happened. What did I say? How could I do wrong? And they have grievances too. They regret it. They just don't know how to handle all those emotions.
When I think about these 3 triads, you have the heart, you have the gut, and you have the what is it? The head, right? And you have different variations of how you function in those 3 based upon your number.
Right.
So, what would really help the people, and I think this would be a great teaching, maybe if we can do like like an Enneagram masterclass, really helping people how to understand each triad. Like, how do you deal with someone who's gut-centered if you're heart-centered?
Yeah.
How do you deal with somebody who's heart-centered if you're head-centered?
It's not that simple, because if you're in the gut center, right, the 9s, 8s, and 1s, each person in that center has a different reason for why they do something. So really the answer to this is to understand how your partner, whatever triad they're in, needs you to communicate with them. Because I can't say, hey, your husband's in the gut and instinct triad, so, deal with him like that. No, It's not like that, because is he a 9, is he an 8, or is he a 1? And I'll tell you, like the 5s, 6s, and 7, which is in the thinking triad, they are the most diverse in the way that they do things. Like a 7 can show up as a 9, right? So people misunderstand that all the time. A 6 can show up as an 8.
Is it because of their polarity numbers?
It's not because of their polarity numbers. It's because there are different reasons why we do things. We're all doing the same things, but we're doing them for different reasons, right? So your 5 is very intellectual and logical. That's a logical thinking person. They are often accused of being robotic and like a computer because everything is logical or super, super deep. Like, why are you, have you ever noticed the clouds? They're really not white. They're like, a meridian of colors. It's actually 12 colors in the clouds. And they're like, they see things on a deeper level and they want to go there in that deepness with you. But they're so deep and they lack the emotional connection.
Okay.
So if you're with somebody who is in the emotional triad and you're a 5, you're definitely experiencing conflict there because your communication styles are so opposite.
Interesting. All right, I think we got time for one more.
Let's do one more. All right, let's talk about 6, and good for you. We get to start with 7 tomorrow. I know you can't wait.
We're going to get on that 7.
Image statement for 7, clever. I'm clever. I must be safe. I am loyal. I am harmless. I don't want to hurt anybody. And I am real. I keep it real with people. I ain't got time for any fluff. It is what it is. That is how the 6 sees themselves. Now, let's talk about their conflict style.
The conflict style, vacillating and blaming.
It's interesting, the vacillating and blaming, because the conflict, the internal conflict for 6 is their need for safety and security and to be able to trust the people around them with their need to be loyal, okay, and be a safe and secure place with someone. And so that brings out this vacillation in them and this blaming. It's just like, I'm vacillating back and forth. Do I want to be in this person's life? Do I want to support? Do I want to move on? Do I not? Do I want to disconnect myself from this person? Do I want to move on? They can become very victimizing. They're definitely very distrusting people. Like, in and of itself, when a 6 is in the room, they're kind of scanning to see, who can I trust in this room? Who can I connect with?
Interesting.
We'll start there. Who can I connect with? If you win the trust of the 6 and then you breach the trust, oh man, the price to pay when it comes to trying to repave that path of trust. So they're always looking for somebody to have an edge. Like, what's your angle? What is it that you really want? They don't look at people for who they are. They're actually guilty. People are guilty until proven innocent in the eyes of the 6.
So even though no matter what the number, we all struggle with trust, the 6 in particular has a hard time because they look through a lens of skepticism anyway.
Yes, absolutely. Skepticism. And they actually need that. They have a need for trust, safety, and security. And all personality styles, it's rooted in your childhood, right, guys? So, somewhere along the line, the 6 was made to feel insecure and they couldn't trust the people around them. And so now they're seeking safety and trust. And if they don't feel that with you, you're not going to get really far with your 6.
Wow, this is good. Man, and we only got through 6, there's 3 more to go. We're definitely gonna have to spend about 15 minutes on the 7 tomorrow, because I think that really needs to be unpacked. But I hope you're getting something out of this.
Fine with me.
Shalice, I see your question. We're gonna answer that tonight in Ask the Experts. Remember, every night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we want you to tune in because it's all about you. We take the questions from this show and go deep dive comprehensively into that show. So make sure you tune in. If you haven't subscribed, just subscribe, because every time we go live, you will get a notification, and we want you to share with the community. Listen, we have some goals for how many people we want to reach, because we want to turn the foundation of marriage upside down, inside out, and make it as God designed it to be, because so many of us are doing marriage wrong. Let's figure out how to do marriage right. Once again, last but not least, before we go, sign up this Saturday, Overcoming Emotional Triggers. I am on pins and needles, ready to dive in to give you what you need to change the course of your life. All right, guys. See ya. Love you. Take care.